Representatives from the Michigan Department of Agriculture joined 49 other states in Washington this week to determine how to work effectively with federal partners on their 2018 priorities, including the upcoming Farm Bill. RFD-TV's Sarah Mock has more from Washington.
Representatives of the National Association of State Departments of Agriculture are taking Washington, D.C. by force this week, here to talk to federal lawmakers and partners about their priorities for 2018. We're lucky enough to be joined here by Jamie Clover Adams, the Director of Agriculture for the state of Michigan. Jamie, what are your top priorities for Michigan farmers while you're here in Washington this week?
Well, I think 2 or 3 top priorities. Trade is number 1, rural broadband is number 2, and then conservation and the conservation portions of the Farm Bill.
I'm sure for Michigan farmers, lots of dairy up in Michigan, and just being on the border with Canada, what are farmers worried about when you talk to them on the ground?
Well, I think they're really worried about markets, but we know that so much of what we produce goes into the channels of commerce and into trade, so it makes that an important thing. But they're worried about price. If we can find homes for their milk and their milk products in other people's markets, that's just better for us.
Michigan also one of the most diverse states for agriculture, not just corn and soybeans, not just dairy, but also lots of specialty crops. Could you talk a little bit about what you folks are doing on the specialty crop side?
We do a lot within our department. I take trade delegations to China, South Korea, Taiwan for our fruits and vegetable products. They're sought after around the world. There's a real market for them, and so we take our companies abroad and sell, as the governor says.
Well, of course, the state departments of agriculture are really the boots on the ground that farmers interact with day to day, but you're here talking with kind of the federal partners, the overall USDA. What are you hearing from them? Are they excited to hear solutions from the states?
I think so. It's really refreshing because, they are very removed from what happens on the ground, and the fact that they're big enough to see that they should listen to others who have those one-on-one relationships with farmers, and that they're willing to use us in our relationships and find that alignment where we can all get what we need and help farmers be successful.
All of you folks got to go to the White House as well this morning to talk with some very senior folks in the administration. What was that meeting about, and what do you think was accomplished?
Well, it was about Secretary Perdue's rural prosperity report that he put together with his colleagues in the cabinet. It really gave us a picture of how they're all going to work together so that we can all work together, which for me was just absolutely refreshing because, Secretary Perdue talked about how agriculture and things that affect us aren't just in his department. There are issues over at Commerce Department and at EPA and at Interior, and he has a very good working relationship with those folks, and so we can help solve problems if they get aligned, and then we can get aligned underneath them.
Absolutely. Well, an exciting day for the representatives of the National Association of State Departments of Agriculture here in Washington. Lucky enough to be joined again by Jamie Clover Adams, the Director of Agriculture in Michigan. We'll have more updates for you throughout the morning. Until then, back to you in the studio.
Thank you, Sarah. Supporting specialty crop block grants is a top priority of the National Association of State Departments of Agriculture. The organization says it will encourage Congress to ensure that states receive a minimum of $500,000 under the program.